Hello, welcome. It has been a while, maybe a long while, since we've sat down and we've talked about comic book news. Well, here's a little bit of comic book news. The moon is following us. If you're looking up at the subject line up there, the address bar, you see like it's about this book, and Image has misprints. A little more. There we go. Image asks comic stores to destroy the Moon is Following Us collection. Also, just real quick, I don't know anything about this book, but the cover is very evocative. Like, I get Little Nemo vibes off of it, which is a good thing. Little Nemo is awesome. Image asks stores to destroy copies. If you don't know what that means, that's you rip the cover off. Now the book is destroyed. Anyway. Earlier this month, they published their first collection of the series, but not all the yada yada. They issued a note to comic book retailers that copies of it contain a misprint. Please destroy all copies. A reprint is in progress. If you bought a copy, you might want to return it to the store in question. Let them destroy it for your very eyes, possibly with their teeth. Yeah, that's not happening. But the point is, if anybody, any company in the world knows how to print a comic book, it's Image Comics. They have been printing comic books for decades at this point, like literal decades, not figurative, literal. They know how to print a book. Misprints happen. Now, I don't know what happened in this particular case. I don't know. But it could have been, they got their proofs back. The proof looked good. So, like, go print this, and then the printer effed up, and all the actual copies that went out to retailers messed up. And since the proof came back clean, why would you check the products that came in on the interiors of the books instead of just the exteriors? I find this extra interesting because right now in the indie community, which I don't follow the drama very closely anymore, so I don't know who's yelling at who. I just saw that people are mad at Ripiverse for some book that had a printing defect, and the creators were like, well, I guess we created a collectible, which that's not a great point of view, but it's also kind of true. You might remember years ago, pre-pandemic, I think, so probably like 2019, there was that Batman Black Label book that had like a hint of Batwing in one panel, and so DC recalled it, but only after like half the copies were sold, and then stores just sold the copies anyway. And then those books went on to eBay for like $100 instead of like the $20 that they were, or $10, whatever it was, on the shelf. Yeah. Collectible. I remember years ago, whenever that first Jawbreakers book came out, Richard C. Meyer, before he went off the deep end and got real weird, sent them out. And he was like, yo, I'm going to ship out books to everybody because the ones you got have like a sanding effect because the mailer the shipper used. It's not a big deal if there's a printing error, especially if the people who are responsible for it are making it right. Richard C. Meyer shipped a book out. DC replaced copies of that Batman book. Image replacing copies of The Moon is Following Us. And it sounds like the Ripiverse stuff, they're going to replace copies for people who want them replaced. I don't know the details of the implementation of like how any of this is going down, but misprints happen. Have a little empathy. That's all I'm saying. So this is a very timely, real-world, major corporate or major publisher problem that is happening at the same time an indie publisher is having a very similar problem. And it sure sounds like Image is doing the right thing. Yo, destroy your unsold copies. We're shipping you all new ones. If customers come in, trade them out. I applaud that. It's a no-brainer. I don't know exactly what the Ripiverse is doing, but it sounds similar. If they were nice, they would just ship new copies to people and not have them ship their old ones back or something. But I don't know. Anyway, just some thoughts about misprints and the nature of, quote, collectibles, because, like, I don't think anybody has thought about that Batman book since, like, the week after it came out. Like, has anybody talked about the Batwang? No? I didn't think so. Take care, everybody. Ciao.